All right, welcome once again to Kisiangani podcast, hanging out with the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Bruno
Advocate.
and Olivier.
Yes, indeed. Perfect pronunciation.
Good.
I just learned how to pronounce his name on our way here, like
Olivier.
literally. I met Olivier last time, and now I've gotten him in a quieter, homelier
Conducive.
place.
Yes.
You good?
I'm perfect.
You're still enjoying Nairobi City?
I'm enjoying Nairobi thoroughly.
All right.
Yes.
Have you gotten food that you like?
Well, I did like some food that I had yesterday at the Carnivore.
All right. What did you have? Did you have vegetarian? Did you get some
It's really
meat?
funny for someone to go to the Carnivore restaurant and you're eating Thai food.
That would be a sin.
It was a sin indeed, and I feel guilty about it.
But it was good-ish.
It was good. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Before we continue, you had gone to Canberra to do us?
What is it?
You have been to Canberra to do us?
What were you doing at the
What did you
carnival?
do?
Oh, I was at the Carnival, Carnivore, I should say, because I was invited by Emmanuel to the comedy premiere
All right.
over there. I had the pleasure of seeing many.
And it's like Kenyan,
Comedy.
the budding Kenyan stand-up comedy scene.
Well, I was afraid that I would not have understood because, as you know, comedy is extremely hard to translate, if you will, culturally speaking, but I felt right at home.
All right.
And I had Diana there translating for me whenever I couldn't understand something that somebody said. And when I say translating, I'm not about not speaking English.
Yeah.
Like someone would say something, and I was like, what does it mean? And then I say, okay, now, okay, I got it.
So were you laughing after the fact? Like
I was laughing the whole time.
All right.
The whole time I was laughing.
Oh, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Kenyan comedy, man.
Yeah.
We're going global.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good
The
stuff.
scene we've been working on the English scene for 3 years now.
So before that, you were doing it in Swahili, no?
These are huge Swahili scene.
Oh, there is also.
Yeah,
okay,
there
I
is
see.
a huge Swahili scene, but not.
So the English scene is nascent.
Yes, it's bottom. But anyway, we're here to not talk about comedy. I wanted to ask Olivier a couple of questions. Olivier, you have roots in Haiti,
Yes.
and I gleaned that brilliantly from our previous conversation. And I want to speak about Haiti a little. All right. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about Haiti. If you answer these questions before, just indulge me. All right. Feel free to repeat. Do you have like family there, like your grandma and your great grandma?
Well, what we call in the United States immediate family.
Yeah.
I don't have any immediate family in Haiti beside an aunt who is not moving to the United States, but she is in Haiti. She's the only immediate family that I would say I have, but everybody else is in the States. But I do have distant relatives
Yeah.
in Haiti.
So you're familiar with what's happening there totally.
Absolutely. I've spent all my formative years in the United States. So I decided to go back to Haiti as a tourist, if you will, to get to know the country. So the first time I went, I was in the capital city of Port-au-Prince, and I visited my grandmother's village. And the second time I went to Haiti, I went to the south of Haiti, because my grandmother's from the northwest, so I went to the south. And the third time I went to the north. So that's usually my mode of travel, just like I went to Western Africa first, and now I'm in East Africa.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go to South Africa after
Oh,
that.
so it's a pattern.
It's a pattern. I like to just go west, east, and then south.
So
and
like,
then if I don't die early, I will go to North Africa last.
okay.
To meet our cousins up there.
Oh yeah, the Arabs.
Yeah, I'll check out the brothers first, you know.
Oh, so Haiti, the president was assassinated recently. So what's normally like the economy of Haiti has never really taken off, right? What's normally the problem? Is it the same as the same challenges we have here?
The challenges of Haiti are manifold. On the one hand, Haiti has the most glorious history of any country really in the world, in the sense that we hear of Spartacus, who started the revolution against the Romans, the slave revolution, and they have movies about that.
Yeah.
But Spartacus was caught and he was killed.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. The revolution was not successful.
Mm-hmm.
The Haitian story is the only successful slave revolution in the world.
Well, they actually fought and actually got the freedom.
And fought and won.
Wow, the black.
Yet, most, of course, Bruno here, he's an Haitian file, so he knew about it, but a lot of people don't know about that history. That's not something that is taught to your average black kids. We are taught about George Washington, we taught
Christopher
about
Columbus.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau, we talked about Bonaparte, we talked about all those people who have nothing to do with us and our color.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Toussaint Louverture, these are Haitian heroes, people who actually fought and won against the white people, but the books that we're reading are mostly written by white missionaries.
That's crazy. I've never thought of that.
Absolutely, so they don't mention those things.
Heroes.
They don't mention those things about who we are, just like in the United States, they don't mention many of the African heroes who were literally fighting. It's almost as though before the white men settled in Africa, there was no civilization.
Yes, like we didn't exist.
You didn't exist.
Yeah.
So you have these silly movies like
Tarzan.
White.
Of course. It's
Blue-eyed.
White man who talks to animals.
it's exploitation movie. So it's what the white man does best is marketing. Okay? They market stuff so well. They could sell you pigeons' feces and put it in a nice little box
Lingerie.
and make you eat it as butter.
That's funny, but it's true.
Yeah, and then we would buy it too.
Yeah.
You'd find, from the whole government here buying it, saying, "Oh my God!"
And they bring
Putting it in music videos.
They have very beautiful brochure, color,
Pigeon
pictures.
butter, baby.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be like, wow, this is something nice. With histories there, funny things.
So they're brilliant marketers.
They're brilliant marketers, and that marketing genius that they have, they instill it in everything else, particularly history, because most black people don't know the history of black people.
Yeah, true. It's hidden.
In Kenya, I'm sure you've taken Western civilization in college. Have you known that?
We're speaking very fluent English, yeah.
Exactly. Fluent English.
Like for me, my dad was an English professor. So he teaches at the Nairobi University. So at our house, we're encouraged to speak in English. So if you speak in your, like I'm Bukusu, my tribe is Bukusu, and I barely speak Bukusu. Because my dad was like, you have to speak English.
Correct English, not
Which is, I'm trying to learn now. I can hear, I can understand, but I can't speak as fluently.
And that is the tragedy of the marketing genius of the white man. Because if you speak Bokosu, is that the name of the language?
Yeah.
That would imply that you are inferior. Everything about us, they put it in a way that seems inferior. Our color. So people here and throughout the United States and throughout the world feel the need to lighten their skin because we are told that our skin is bad. Even in the language, somebody who has a dark heart is evil. If you are showing any pictures to kids, the devil is always black.
Black cat is unlucky.
A black cat is black market.
Black ball.
Yeah, black everything. Okay, or black out. When in fact it's not the black that's out, it's the white that's out. Yeah,
the white's out. It's
it
not.
should be a white out because
The black's in.
The black's in now.
That is so funny, man.
But language has a psychological impact on you and your subconscious, and it makes you react in a way that either make you strong or make you inferior. So a lot of black kids are suffering from inferiority complexes, and the parents encourage that. For example,
Yeah.
you see black kids given blonde dolls, white blonde dolls,
Blue-eyed, white, blonde.
blue eyes, white blonde dolls. There's nothing wrong with that if you give the kid a variety of dolls,
Yeah.
at least. Imagine a white kid. Just close your eyes for a minute if you're listening to this right now. Imagine you seeing a white person, a white child, with a black doll. It seems bizarre, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem bizarre?
Yeah. And another bizarre thing,
But it's normal for a black
Yeah,
kid to
it
be
is.
having a white doll, and we don't see anything wrong with it.
seeing a black couple with a white kid seems bizarre.
Adopted, yeah.
You're like, why is that black kid with the white? Why is the black
couple,
kid? Why is the black with the white kid with the black couple?
Yeah,
But the reverse it seems
like
normal.
normal.
A lot of things that are normal to us is because we have taken in this marketing genius of the people, and we see it as normal. And for a black person, unfortunately, to be educated doesn't mean to learn only. It means to unlearn certain things. That's when you
To be educated means to unlearn.
for a black person, it's not. It shouldn't just mean to learn. You need to learn.
Yeah.
It also means to unlearn.
Emancipate yourself from the slavery mentality.
Yeah.
It's almost like a catharsis, like a ritual. You need to remove certain things that you've learned that is not good for your psyche, for your person. There's nothing wrong with learning English and speak proper English, but there's something wrong with not speaking Bakatu, Bokosu.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with not speaking the language of your mother. There's something wrong with not knowing the history of your people. There is something wrong with not learning other things in addition, as I say, in addition to, but not instead of. What they've done, they've removed everything that they want us to remove everything that are ours and adopt theirs.
Yeah.
But who knows better than somebody else about their own culture than you are? So if you don't speak Bokusu with your kid, when you're disciplining your kid in the so-called broken English that you speak, the kid is not going to respect you. You're lucky your father was a college professor, so he could smack you around in perfect English, and that would be fine. But if your father insisted that you speak only English and not speaking Bokusu, and he doesn't speak English himself, and that happens sometimes,
Yeah.
you're not going to respect his disciplining because you would feel that he's not speaking properly. You'd be embarrassed of him when your friend shows up at the house.
Yes.
You see, that creates inferiority complexes that we're still suffering from today. You have a lot of people who want to marry a white man or a white woman just because they want kids that have a little
A tinge of white.
a tinge of white, as they say in Haitian Creole. People who have skin that looks like doo-doo. Shit.
Oh, for real. That's
Yeah.
how they call it.
Yeah, and that's how proud we are as Asians. You know? Oh yeah, because your color looks like shit. That
Yeah.
you're happy about it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's. But how do you unlearn?
You unlearn by using the same tools that you've learned from the white man, by marketing yourself. When I was a kid in the United States, when I was growing up in the United States, there were signs everywhere that were saying black is beautiful.
Oh, there were signs.
Signs that were saying, the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People,
Yeah.
were marketing signs saying black is beautiful. Just that little statement.
Like Black Lives Matter. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. You need that.
So it gets into your
It
subconscious.
gets into your subconscious, and after a while, you react when you see a dark. You hear a lot of hip hop songs or R&B songs talk about dark chocolate brother and that melanin, whatever.
Yeah.
Those things, we need them. You don't find white people saying that because they don't need them. First of all, as I've said last time we talked, when you close your eyes as a black person
Yeah.
to pray, who do you see? A white man. That is ridiculous. I mean,
But we watched the Jesus movie.
it doesn't matter. We are the only race that
The Jesus movie was enough to give you that image.
We are the only race that prays to a God that doesn't look like us. Think about that. The Chinese pray to their God. Looks like some Buddha, doesn't look like a white man. The Indians, the Krishna God, doesn't look like a Chinese person. But us?
Jesus movie.
We pray to a white man. But one thing, first of all, if you're a Christian, I don't want you to feel offended. I want you to be educated, because Jesus is from the Middle East.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And his friends' name are Pierre in French, Paul, Matthew in French. His name, his friend should have been named Abdul or something else, and they should look darker. But what they did, it was under, I think it was Pope Borgia.
Yeah.
In the 1500s, that decided to have a painting of Jesus that looks like his son. What was his name again? My God. Anyway, the son of Borgia. If I remember, I'll tell you what it is. That's what this version of Jesus looks like. But before that, that's not the color that they had for Jesus. It was more of a darker person.
Differently, like curly hair, something like that.
That blonde hair person, that was not.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a blonde Middle Eastern person? They look more like Egyptians or darker. Yeah.
But us guys, we should have our own movies, portraying Jesus as a bit darker or something.
If I, as a black person, am writing a script about Jesus, you better believe he's going to be darker. He's not going to be a blonde person. But you know what's sad about it? Christians are messed up because the Christians won't even accept that Jesus. They would feel offended that you would put a Jesus that's black. They would.
That's an assumption. But
No.
It's very difficult to you see, emotions. Just like anything that has to do with emotions is very dangerous to change. People cannot change their emotions that easily. You cannot tell a Christian person not to be a Christian anymore. People kill for religion.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah. Even Muslims.
It's hard.
Even,
because you really believe it. And think about it. If there's one God, and we all believe that there has to be one God, if you somebody believe that. So the Muslims believe they're right, the Christians believe they're right, the Hindus believe they're right, what do you do? But at least one thing we could all agree on, that nobody knows what God looks like.
Yeah.
But since Jesus was a human person, and he was born in the Middle East, we can at least deduce that he's not European looking.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
In Kenya, they say surely. Surely. If he was born, surely.
And what does surely mean?
Like,
obviously?
I don't even know. Yeah, something like obviously.
It's clear that he's not. Okay, well, surely.
Like, there's no debate.
Yeah, then not surely.
So back to Haiti. Haiti,
yeah. So
they drove out the French. Was it?
This is what happened with Haiti. The whole system, the economic system at that time was basically agriculture and agriculture based, but slavery. That was the engine that's what was driving the economies of France, England, Spain, Portugal. I think these are the four major suspects at that time. So the superpower at that time was Spain.
Oh, like the global superpower.
Global superpower. Spain was the global superpower. So just for the benefit of everybody else, since we have a few minutes, let me just start by saying that Columbus was just a young man who, he was born in Italy.
Yeah.
And he, just like any young man at that time, heard about spices from India. And he wanted to get in the business, because just like some young men in Kenya now wants to go to America to fulfill their dream, because in fact as intelligent as you guys are, if you get to America, you will fulfill your dreams because you won't be smoking, doing nonsense, and give you like 2-3 years. You'll probably be, having your own apartment and start working, probably find yourself an American girlfriend if you're not married.
Get some American kids.
And then next thing you know, you're doing much better than somebody who's even born there.
Yeah.
Because it's what's in your mind that makes you not what you are.
Yeah.
So Columbus wanted to get into the thing, and he couldn't do it, and he went to Spain and tried to talk to the king, and he could not. And finally, he got to the queen and says, "Okay, if you help me, I will name everything for the glory of Spain." And the queen sold some jewelry and decided to fund his expedition to get them to go to India, because before that, Europeans were eating meat just boiled with water, and that's it, and salt.
Central province, though.
No taste whatsoever.
It's called Tumbukiza.
Tumbukiza, indeed.
There's a place called Central Province.
That's where they eat like that? Huh?
Kinda.
I'm not going to get into ethnic strife. I'm not going to get into politics, Kenyan politics here.
So they're eating boiled food.
They were eating boiled food. That's what they were eating. And
no cabbages, no potatoes.
Nothing.
No, they were boiling the cabbages.
They boil them, but they have no.
They didn't have spices
for them. But the elite knew that they were spices because they've tasted them.
All right.
They knew that. It was like
a secret?
Precious gold. Well, they didn't have much.
Oh, right.
They didn't have much because it was a dangerous route to go there. And there were even rumors, since at that time people were very superstitious. There were rumors of monsters and that just would eat your boat and whatever. So Columbus was a very ambitious young man, just like every young man, at that time. And he finally got his expedition funded. And there were 2 other Spaniards, the Penson's brothers, who provided 2 boats. So now they had 3 boats. La Pinta, La Niña, and La Santa Maria. Those 3 boats. La Niña and La Santa Maria.
Santa Maria.
Yeah. So those 3 boats decided to go to India. Remember I was talking about marketing earlier?
Yeah.
How white people market things?
Yes.
They could sell you pigeon doo-doo and then make you eat it as
pigeon butter, baby.
Pigeon butter.
De la cream.
Columbus, instead of going east, homeboy with all his infinite brilliance went west. He got lost.
Oh, he got lost.
And he ended up in America. When I say America, I don't mean the United States.
Americas.
In the
continent.
Americas. So he got up. The first place he landed was in the Bahamas.
Oh.
And he called the place San Salvador. I speak Spanish. So Salvador means Savior Saint. Salvation Saint.
So he's come with salvation, in other words.
No, because he was going to get lost. The seas were rough and they didn't know where they were going. So when they saw land, they said that's our salvation. So they were happy.
Oh, yeah.
San
that
Salvador.
Makes sense. Yes.
So he called that first little island San Salvador. And then he moved further north and he ended, guess where?
Haiti.
Yes.
Haiti.
Yes, December 4th, 1492. So going back to the marketing, because I'm not letting my cousins off the hook, Christopher Columbus is known as the great navigator.
Yeah.
Think about it. The guy got lost. I mean, this is ridiculous.
The great navigator got lost into
great.
But you know what's funny about it? We as black people, we're still repeating that crap. Columbus was not a great navigator. He got lost. He was supposed to go to India. When he found the inhabitants of the people who were in the land of Haiti at that time, that's what the Indians call it.
Yeah.
He called them Indians because he thought he was in India.
Oh, him in his mind, he thought he was in India.
Yeah, that's why you call him in. What do you
He thought he's landed in India.
That's what the great navigator thought he landed in India. That's why he called the people Indians.
He called the natives Indians.
Dumb guy.
Yeah, but we're worshiping him as the great navigator still.
Yeah.
Because who writes history? The winners. We even have Columbus Day in the United States.
He says you
Can you
repeat that.
repeat that? Just say.
Huh?
Who write histories?
I can hear you.
Repeat
He
that
who
thing,
writes
Jen.
history is the winners.
That's it.
Yes, the winners always write history.
That doesn't mean that the history is right.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
That's why I say, as a black person, you don't only have to learn, but you have to unlearn. Because the history that you learn is based, is written through the prism of somebody else. Like you're wearing glasses right now, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So if your glasses are white glasses, you see history that way.
Yeah, true.
And I'm challenging everybody to see history through the black prism. How could somebody who got lost misnamed the inhabitants of that place be called still a great navigator? Okay.
Yeah, irony.
Makes no sense. But we, as parrots, are repeating the same nonsense because who writes the history books?
I think you have to think things through, man.
Yes. So let's continue with Haiti. I just wanted to get to the great navigator for a minute here.
Very important.
So basically, the people he found there were native people. He called them Indians. And on that land, they had 5 different tribes. The Guaracanagaric people, all the names, I'm missing all the names now, but they had Guaracanagaric, they had a woman, Anacaona, who was heading one part. They have, I think there were 5 of them, they call them Kasika, 5 different regions on the island, the whole island. And the Indian people welcome the Columbus people.
The navigators.
They welcome them very well. No problem. But as usual, you know how the colonizers do things.
Yeah. You know the way it goes. Same script.
Same script, different
island.
Different islands. So they suddenly decide, you know what? You are praying to the sun, you are praying to whatever. They get you with religion. Because when they travel, they have the sword on one hand and the Bible on another hand. So as black people, when I see the Bible, it offends me to a certain extent. Not that I cannot appreciate that there are things in the Bible that are good.
Yeah.
But white people have used the Bible throughout history as a means to colonize us. So by the time you close your eyes and pray with them, they're already stealing your land. Yeah.
When you close your eyes.
You close your eyes, you kneel, and then your land is gone.
So you pray with your eyes open.
Pray with your eyes open.
But no one warned you.
No, not next to a white man.
No one told you.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah.
The Indians were praying to God, whatever, and up they close your eyes, you wake up, you're gone. Your wife is gone too, and your daughter.
Damn.
So basically, they captured some of the Indians. They brought them back to Spain to show them, showcase them, saying to Queen Isabella at that time, yes, we discovered this land, this new land. We have those people. Still think they're in India, by the way.
Oh, they still thought that's India.
Yeah, but now they found something better than spices. Gold. Yes, they found gold. They brought gold. People couldn't believe this. They brought gold.
Let me say pure gold.
Pure gold. So Isabella, the king, and Ferdinand, all of them decided that, you know what, we're going to double down. They brought back people now. More priests to go. They had all kinds of people. And one of the priests who went there his name was Las Casas.
Yes.
Las Casas came and, he tried to convert the Indians and all that. And Columbus created a base in Haiti and decided to travel more to see more lands.
All right.
See more gold.
More gold. And when he came back, the people had already raped the Indians. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, they're less than human, of course. You know, they raped the Indians, they done a bunch of things. Las Casas did not want that to happen that much. And guess what he decided to do? He pleaded with the Queen of Spain that we should protect the Indians. In less than 25 years, the whole population of Haiti had about 1 million Indians.
Yeah.
In less than 25 years, almost all that population was eradicated because they had put the Indians to work the field to mine gold for them, and the people died of disease, of
Plus the diseases they came with.
Yeah, they came with syphilis and all kinds of stuff.
Gonorrhea, man.
Of course. And then that's when they decided, you know what? We're going to go to the coast of Africa and get some of our ancestors.
So they repopulated Haiti
Repopulated Haiti with black people from West Africa
to work on the farms.
to work on the farms in the field.
Back to the field, the strong ones.
I think Humundus.
These guys, we don't have guys who can actually.
Okay.
Sad.
Yeah. So they went to the coast of Africa and fetch some black people.
Yes.
And what they will tell you that there was slavery in Africa. That's what the white men will tell you.
Yes.
There were wars in Africa, and people were taken prisoners or so-called slaves, but not in a way that you are a subhuman person. Just like in any war, you know, you take slaves or whatever. But those people were, they paid Africans to fetch black people.
Oh yeah, to get into the inland
and sell them, because you know it's John Locke, you know.
Yeah. Or
John
you tell
Smith.
your enemies, like if Bruno's tribe is my enemy, I go capture them and I go sell them.
Exactly. So they populated Haiti with those people, and after a while, you know, we have to remember that the major players I said were France, England, Spain, and Portugal. Okay.
Yes.
But Spain was the superpower. So very soon, France wanted to get in the game.
Because we're seeing these guys are getting gold.
Absolutely. So you had French pirate boats on the high seas and English pirate boats who were trying to, you know, to fight with the boats that were returning to Spain with goods.
Yeah.
So eventually things got so bad that the French were ceded 1/3 of Haiti just as a ransom. In other words, you know what? We're going to give you 1/3 of that island. Leave us alone. So 1/3 of Haiti was given to French.
Just so the raiding parties end. The raiding.
Yeah. So we don't. Yeah, because they, you know, they finally settled in the northwest part of Haiti. Though the pirates ended up settling in the northwest part of Haiti, of the whole island.
Yeah.
So. And they had in 1791 on the treaty called Ryswick Treaty, Spain ceded 1/3 of the island to France, and then they kept 2/3 for themselves. So that one,
For the sake of peace.
yeah, for the sake of peace. So that 1/3 of the island becomes what is Haiti today. So Spain was dealing with the western part, but the Spain, what they were doing cattle.
All right.
They were doing cattle, and French decided to do sugarcane plantation.
So the other side is the Dominican Republic.
Exactly. That's why the Dominicans are lighter than the Haitians. Cattle. When you're doing cattle, you are in closer proximity to your masters. When you planting sugarcane, you're not. Sugarcane, you're in the hot sun. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a sugarcane plantation.
Yes.
Come from sugarcane.
It's brutal work. The leaves could cut you.
Yes.
Not easy task.
It's hard work. The average black person was not able to see his 35th birthday
Because of the work.
The work was hard. Whereas on the other side with the cattle, although the Indians were still enslaved over there, but they intermingled with the white people with the white masters because they were doing a work that was a little bit lighter. That doesn't mean that they were not enslaved. So there was more unchristian activities happening between those two.
They had a softer life, kind of.
Yeah. And that's why, too, they did not revolt. You understand?
All right.
Yeah. Because it is through hard work and misery that you would raise a Mandela.
Yeah.
You don't. If you're being nice, nobody's going to fight against you. But if you're putting your neck against somebody's thing, they might bite your toes.
True.
So, the slaves. At one point, France, just on that 1/3 part of the island, became the richest country in Europe. Because
just by feeding off that piece.
Because of that. Because sugar was such a new commodity, was such an important thing. And the French found a way that you see how you talk about German ingenuity? French ingenuity in slavery was such brutal machine that they managed to export sugar all over the world. It's almost like they were the Saudi Arabia of oil at that time. Okay?
That's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah. And more slaves were coming from Africa. More slaves
Yeah.
were coming. More slaves were coming. And they were dying, they were coming. So eventually, in 1791, a group of slaves decided, you know what, the hell with this nonsense. We're going to burn those sugar plantations. And they started this revolution. They burned a bunch of plantations and they went and hid in the mountains. They call them the Maroons. They went and hid in the mountains. That's the beginning of the Haitian Revolution. For 13 years, they were fighting with those people but they were like, sporadic little
Guerrilla warfare.
guerrilla warfare. It wasn't until one slave by the name of Toussaint Louverture. That's one name that every black person should know. Forget about Colombo.
Toussaint
Louverture.
I should go read about it.
Yeah, go read about it. Toussaint, Toussaint. Louverture is L'Ouverture. Toussaint Louverture. There are plenty of books that are written about him. And he is like the Spartacus of modern days. Toussaint Louverture was a slave he was a coachman. I don't know if you know what a coachman is. You know how they didn't have cars.
The guys would drive the coach.
He drives the coach. He was a coachman, and he was a coachman for this French settlers in Haiti at that time. They didn't call Haiti at that time. They called it Saint-Domingue.
All right.
San Domingo. That's what they called it at that time. And Toussaint was driving his coach, and one day the brother of the owner of the plantation was visiting, and he was a priest. And he said, "Does Toussaint know how to read?" He says, "No." He said, "Oh, well, you should teach him how to read." And he gave Toussaint that book, and that's in the book Toussaint started reading about Spartacus, by the way.
He read about Spartacus.
Yes, he taught himself how to read.
Yeah.
And he read about Spartacus, okay? And he was sort of a self-taught medicine man that used to treat the horses and all that. Basically was taking care of the horses. And eventually, his masters gave him his freedom. He was sort of, Toussaint didn't have it bad as a slave, okay? He was what you call a house slave in a sense. So when that thing happened, when the slaves revolted in 1791, Toussaint went and visited the slaves who were having the ceremony in the mountains. It's almost like you're black, but you work with white people, but there's something happening that's Kenyan,
Yeah.
but you want to go check it out. Not that you support it, but
Yeah.
you just, check it out. Toussaint got there. They said, "Toussaint, we need you, man." And they had this pact. What they did, you have to remember, they're Africans. So they killed a pig, and they took the blood of the pig, and then they passed it around for everybody to drink, like an oath.
Yeah.
So the Haitians wanted to make a pact, so they killed that pig, and they drank the blood and tell everybody to basically decide freedom or death. Toussaint heard them. I don't know, I'm not sure if he drank the blood or if he agreed at that time, but
No, he didn't take a double of.
eventually he did not necessarily go there. But when things started happening, okay, they they went to his master trying to kill him, his master, I mean his former master, and his brother. So he saved them. Eventually, Toussaint joined the people, and since he was educated, he started to strategize. He gave them strategy, and he basically worked so well with them that eventually in 1803 there was a big battle. The slaves won. They kicked out the French.
Did they have guns?
They had guns, of course. They would invade armories and steal guns. They, all kinds of stuff. They did whatever they had to do, and eventually won. And guess what they did? The first thing that they did in 1803, when they won the independence, and on January 1st, 1804, that's, by the way, that's the independence, official Independence Day of Haiti.
1804.
1804. January 1st.
Fast.
January 1st, 1804. Okay?
That's really dope.
And January 1st. What they did, beside the fact that, in 1803, they took the French flag. It's white, blue, and red. They removed the white from the flag, and they keep the red as symbol of the blacks, and the blue as symbols of the blacks, and the red as symbol of the mixed race people of Haiti. So that's why we have a blue and red flag.
Right.
So they removed the flag, and then they said this is our new country now, and they changed the name of the country to what?
Haiti.
To Haiti, the original Indian name. So basically, we elevated the Indians again.
Yeah.
Think about it. Former slaves.
Yeah.
Say, no. What you did to the Indians were wrong. So we're going to call the country back to its original name. That's the people that you killed called. So the first people who acknowledged the Indians, the so-called native people in the New World, was the Haitians.
So the French didn't send an armada to
That's
take
kind
the...
No, they were scared. They didn't do anything. I'm going to tell you what happened now. And so when Haiti became independent, one of the things that we put in our constitution, anybody from anywhere, by the way, I'm just focusing on Haiti, throughout all of Americas, okay? Since you guys are from here, you may not visualize the geography of America. You have the United States and Canada and Mexico. They are in North America. You have Haiti, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Trinidad, Montreal, so a bunch of little islands. That's the Antilles, okay? And then you have Central America, which is Costa Rica, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, and all that. These are Central America. And then you have South America. South America is Colombia, Brazil, Chile, Argentina, all those. So I'm just giving you a quick...
Yeah.
To me, as an American, meaning somebody from the Americas, just like you guys are African, I don't want you to see just the United States as America. The United States of America.
Yes.
Okay? Just like Kenya, to me, is not just Africa. And it offends me when people say, I'm from Africa. What do you mean you're from Africa? Are you from Zimbabwe or are you from Kenya?
Yeah.
Africa has 53 countries in it, right? America has 37 countries in it. So...
Including the United States.
Including the United States. Yeah. So Haiti at that time, that's what was happening in Haiti. But in the rest of America, slavery was happening big time. The Portuguese were literally having a big host in furnishing Brazil with black people for slavery. The Spaniards were still doing things in Argentina. They were doing things in all those places. In the United States, of course, in the North, was still enslaving blacks. So Haiti was the only odd man out. In 1804, we kicked out the French. We declared ourselves independent. And we say anybody who sets foot on Haiti is free.
Oh, for real?
So we are the first country that created that.
It was like an island of freedom.
Absolutely.
So you just need to get there.
Just get there. That's it. You're there. You're free. What do you think Spain, France, England would do? Thank God for Haiti. At that time, they were fighting with each other because they were fighting with each other in Europe. You know.
What about Haiti for some time?
So they sort of French, like, you know what? Napoleon said, you know, too much, because we have to deal with Alexandria, Egypt, because, you know, at that time he was there too. If you studied world history, you know that. So he says, you know what? We'll deal with Haiti later on. So in the meantime, Haiti was doing its thing with, you know, trying to establish or just whatever
country
normally. The United States, of course, would not recognize Haiti at that time. You know, all the American heroes like Jefferson and people like that white people write as the great freedom fighters, they would not deal with Haiti. They were racist. They didn't want to deal with Haiti. Like, you know, no, these people are going to give bad ideas to the blacks here in the United States. We want to deal with them. So basically, a big embargo on Haiti. Big embargo on Haiti. Nobody would recognize Haiti. So Haiti went spend blacklisted. We were like the ISIS of the 19th century at that time. And that's 1804. That's the beginning of the 19th century.
Because you're thriving.
Just because you say you have to be free. You don't want to be owned by another person. So eventually, Haitians started to export the revolution. People would come from other places, from Cuba, from wherever, to get weapons and help from Haiti. And
it was like a base.
It's like a base. So basically, Haiti was like, as far as the Spaniards and the whatever are concerned, Haiti was a bad news. We were like the Taliban.
Like, those guys are crazy.
Yeah, no, crazy. I mean,
like crazy. Don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there. Not
they'll
just
kill
that.
you.
Not just no. We don't want them to exist. Period, because they are bad influence on our slaves. Because the whole system was based on slavery, and these people kicked themselves out. Why do you want to recognize a black person?
Yeah.
So, 21 years later. France decided that, you know what, we've been fighting in Europe for so long, so France and England decided to have peace. So now they went back to Haiti, 21 years later.
And our guy, was he around?
Who?
Of Sparta Haiti.
No, at that time, no. They took him in a ruse. They said when he was fighting, they took him in a ruse. They said that they wanted to have peace with him. That's what white people always do. I'm sorry to say. It may sound like I'm racist. I'm not. It's the truth. They took him. They said that they're going to come and negotiate with you, and they kidnapped him and they brought him to France. Yeah. There, and you know how we are. We believe everything.
Same thing happened to. Same thing happened to Anandi. We have a chief called. Remember the Nandi warrior?
Nandi chief warriors. We can refer.
Or something. Yeah. So the British went. You know, the same strategy.
It's the same thing.
Like, come, we talk.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they kidnapped them and they put him in jail.
Koitalel Arap Samoy, that was his name.
Same thing. So they take Toussaint Louverture and then whatever. But you can kill a revolutionary, but you cannot kill a revolution.
The idea was there.
Okay? You can kill a warrior, but you cannot get rid of a war. You see what I'm saying? So he had already trained those people. So when they got him and put him in the jail in Montjura in France, Dessalines, another one, came up. So this one was a field slave. Toussaint was not a field slave. So he would negotiate. He's like, nope, no good negotiation. He come with something called coupe.
Field slave is the bada.
Yeah, he says
the bada version.
Exactly. So he started this thing called coupe tête boule caille. Coupe tête boule caille, meaning cut their head off, burn their house.
What?
That was his politics.
There's no jokes.
Nope, no jokes. So he went crazy. That's how we got our independence.
So now that's afresh now after the French have come back.
No. That's
before.
That's before.
All right.
So no, Haiti has gotten its independence
All
with
right.
this guy doing all that.
All right.
You had asked me about Toussaint.
Yeah. All right.
So 21 years later, when the French came, Haiti was, doing his thing, but he didn't have trade with anybody else. Can you imagine a country for 21 years you have no trade with anybody else? Nobody recognizes you.
Yeah.
For you to be a country, you have to be recognized by other countries, existing countries. The newest country in the world is, I think, Southern Sudan. Remember, other countries had to recognize it for it to be a country. Otherwise, you're just a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like Somaliland.
Yeah, like Somaliland right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the Palestinian.
Yes.
So you have to be recognized by the international community. Then you have ambassadors, you have exchanges. That's how you become a country. Nobody recognized Haiti. France came 21 years later with 200 warships. 200 warships.
Then, that's a massive resource. Eh?
It's an armada.
An armada, exactly. Napoleon.
Yeah.
200 warships and put it in the Bay of Port-au-Prince and says, we give you 48 hours, okay, to basically stand down or pay us. Otherwise, we're going to invade and reestablish slavery.
Pay what? That's the question. Pay what?
They wanted damages for their properties. And guess who the properties were?
Slaves.
Yes.
So they wanted damages for those properties.
In other words,
What kind of nonsense is that?
yeah.
Did someone ask them that? Check it. What kind of nonsense is that?
Can you say in France what kind of nonsense is that?
So the thing I'm saying is that kind of history cannot be taught by those colonizers because it shows the evil.
Yeah.
The ball. I mean, what kind of...
First of all, you've taken me from my country,
Yeah.
all right? Taken me to an island, and then you've worked me like a
And
horse.
my parents and my great parents.
Yes, and everyone I know,
Yeah.
and then now you leave. Then you come back. Then you want me to pay you back?
Yes.
They
Pay me
my
back.
family, my culture, my
Rape my women.
Yes.
women,
Okay, and my children.
change my language or something like that. Eh?
And decide, okay, if you don't do that, I'm going to invade.
It can't sink in. You can't.
By the way, I should say to you, when Haiti became independent,
Yeah.
it did not just liberate the Haitian part. It also drove out the Spaniard on that west side.
All right. So
Oh, yeah.
they drove those guys out
Oh
too.
yeah, everybody was out.
So everyone was free on the island.
Yes, the whole island was free.
And you head down.
The whole island was free. The people were doing their thing with, but the third part, whatever. So when France decided to do that, the president of Haiti at that time, his name is Jean-Pierre Boyer, he decided that, well, this is real politics. We have no choice. We have to agree to their terms, not to reinstate slavery. France decided that, you're going to pay us as damages $21 billion.
By then, do you know how
That
much
was
is
that time, yeah.
No, at that time it was 100 million francs, gold francs, I think. What comes to about $21 billion.
Today's currency.
Yeah,
Dollars.
$21 billion. For a little country at that time, Haiti's population was maybe 2 million at that time.
Yeah.
So per capita, everybody had a $2 million, or I don't know, take 21 billion divided by 3 and you see how per capita debt was.
French has that bullshit kind of thing. It goes to all the francophone countries and they charge them colonization fee. What nonsense is that?
That's another subject. But anyway,
He just had to let that out.
so Haiti was paying that debt to France until 1946.
How many are this?
From 18.
From 1820, I mean, we got independence in 1804, 21 years later, so that's 1825. From 1825 to 1946, we were paying France.
So money, whatever is made to France.
Basically, every dollar that should have come to the development of Haiti,
Yeah.
to the development of the Haitian individual, went to France. And for people to have the audacity now to say, well, you know, Haiti is poor. Haiti is not poor. Haiti is impoverished. There's a big difference.
By these things.
But it's like when people say, okay, you know, Kenya has a poor country. No, Kenya is impoverished.
Yeah.
Impoverished is when somebody makes you poor.
Yes.
Intentionally.
Yes.
It's like having a huge tick just
Yes.
sucking you
Absolutely.
continuously.
Let me give you a quick example. What country is the biggest exporter of chocolate? Not cocoa, chocolate, like sweet chocolate. Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah.
Does Switzerland have cocoa?
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't have any cocoa.
Yeah.
Most cocoa come from Ghana. Okay. Finally, somebody in Ghana has some serious balls
Yeah.
to say no more.
That was
That makes no sense. And that's what we've done.
the Kufu.
And that's what they've done to us.
It's Nana.
Most of the European countries have no bauxite, they have no minerals, they have no nothing, but they just come and take, and then they tell you you're poor.
Yeah. Then they process it and sell it back at
It makes
58,000
no
times.
sense.
Topple the government using
And they make you feel like you're stupid.
yeah,
Of course, you're stupid for letting them.
the leaders.
So did they clear the debt, or these guys just decided to?
We finished
To stop
finished paying them in 1946. 1946, just yesterday, in history,
Yeah.
in historical terms. 1946.
And these guys were just receiving the money even.
Just receiving
As
the money
recently as
just
19
1946. Okay. In Spain, France, all of them,
Yeah,
they were
that is
there
bad.
knowing that. But guess what? They wanted to make an example of Haiti, because if Haiti was successful, it would have proven that a black country can take care of itself. It creates in the mind of other people that look at Haiti. Look how, you know, they got independence. Look what happened to them.
Yeah.
You see?
And how about the third island, the Dominican Republic?
The other side, what happened is that they did not want to participate in the payment. They're like, oh, we have nothing to do with it. The president said, no, you have nothing to do with it. I'll tell you. We invade them and occupy them.
Invade who?
The other side.
The light-skinned guy.
Also, they invaded.
Of course. We occupied them for 19 years.
All right.
Yeah. So when they celebrate their independence, they celebrate their independence from Haiti.
All right.
And they cannot stand us for that. There's a big
There's a
rift.
lot of bad blood, right?
Absolutely big bad blood, because the closer you look to the oppressors or the colonizers, the more you feel like you are like them.
Yeah.
So Dominicans have this superiority complex vis-a-vis Haitians, when in fact Haitians don't care about what light you look. All we wanted to do is we liberated the whole island. You need to pay your fair share. They didn't want to. We had a stronger army. We invaded them and took care of it.
And there's kind of some discrimination. There's a YouTuber, Kenyan famous YouTuber, who went to the Dominican Republic. Then he had a GoPro. You know, these vloggers. So he was recording himself. So he was grabbed by some cops and he was beaten up. They thought he was Haitian.
Yeah, I know. There
So
are
when
a
they
lot-
had his accent, they let him go.
There's a lot bad. Actually, one of the films that I wrote, one of the script that I wrote for movie is called "The Island Between Our Love." Basically, the script is written in the context of a Dominican girl. I mean, a Dominican guy who's very light skinned, who is in love with a Haitian girl who's very dark skinned, but they met in the United States. Because in the United States, we don't care if you're light or dark, everybody's black. You see how, you know, people in certain countries, like, if you light, then you think that, no, in the United States, either you're black or white, but if you light skin, you're still black.
Yeah, Obama style.
Exactly.
The black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any
ounce.
blackness in you makes you black.
Yeah, make you black. So that's the way it is in the United States. That doesn't mean that people have their preferences. Some black guy prefer light-skinned girls, vice versa, whatever. Who cares? But you're seen as black. So these two people were dating. That's in the movie that I wrote, the script. And it's based on the history of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Yeah, so I take the history of Haiti and I wrote a script on that. Yeah.
What's color?
Huh?
The movie?
The movie. It's called The Island Between Our Love. I'll show you the. It was in movie theaters in Boston.
Yeah. But Olivier is a serious It's a serious movie. You're gonna tell us about your movies a little bit.
Yes.
As we go along, we've been going for 51 minutes, which is good. I think we haven't even begun. So that explains in my mind for the first time why, Haiti is the way it is right now.
Haiti is the way it is because all the resources of Haiti were literally stolen from France. Now,
have you ever seen that satellite image of Haiti, where like all the trees are gone?
Yeah, because when you have a people who are not educated, they're not trained, resources are gone,
and there's someone sucking you dry,
and you don't have an infrastructure to cook. What do you think people are going to use to cook? They're going to use primitive ways.
Yeah.
They're going to cut the trees, dry them, and use charcoal to cook. That's just normal. But if they had gas, if they had things, like stuff like that, they would not do that. It's not because Haitians are stupid that they do that. It's because that's the reality. People need to feed themselves.
Survival now.
You can blame somebody for wanting to say to survive. And they make it, look what how Haitians just cut the trees. Like we don't know what trees are important. Of course we know trees are important, but eating is more important than trees.
Yeah.
There are things that you call the basic, the Maslow hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
The number one need, what do you think it is? Your personal
Food.
No, security.
Shield.
No, your personal security.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. Let's say I give you a bag that has $1 billion in it. $1 billion. Okay? And there's a big fire. You're about to burn. You think you're not going to leave this, or which one are you going to save? Yourself or the money? You're going to save yourself. So personal security is the number one need. The second is the biological need. Need to sleep. Need to go to the bathroom. Need to eat. These are the most important needs after the security. So forget about education or a beautiful woman, sex. These are not needs that are that high. The need that everybody has is personal security. It doesn't matter if you have a beautiful house in Kenya. If there's a war here, you're leaving. Right?
Yeah, true.
Second, even while you're running, you need to go to the bathroom. You can't hold it. You need to go to the bathroom. That's a need.
I was just Googling it. Is the other way around? Sorry.
Huh?
Is the other way around?
What?
The hierarchy of needs, according to the Google thing. Sorry for.
It says biological is first.
They say physiological needs.
Okay, then security is second.
Security is second.
Okay, yeah. The biological needs are first. That's true. Yeah. Biological needs are the number one. You have no choice.
So yeah, these guys are just sorting out their need.
Yeah. So in Haiti, when they look at the things, people need to eat. You can't help it. That's the number one need. Yeah. You have no. Yeah. You can't blame.
So even now, these French guys are not thinking of paying now Haiti back.
No, there's been a. Just say it. You were better at saying it.
Well, there is a movement now. Aristide, the former president of Haiti. You remember? I'm sure you've heard that name. Aristide.
Yes.
He was one of the people that was pushing for France to pay the money back.
Should pay that money back.
Yeah, he was paying. He was pushing for that. Says, you guys are a thief. You came and stole our money. You need to pay it back. And you notice what happened to Aristide. He was deposed with the collusion of the United States and other Western powers. So it's a political decision. France can afford it. They should be able to pay Haiti back to do certain things. But what they do, they give you little crumbs, or they send missionaries to pretend like they're helping you when in fact they come to exploit you. The Bible in one hand, and sometimes they are CIA agents, sometimes they are whatever agents from the Mossad or wherever they come to just pretend to be helping, but they're not really helping. Think about it. Haiti has more NGOs than any other country per capita. Than in the whole world. I think India is the second one. Think about it.
And Clinton was out with his giving.
Yeah, but let's put the Clinton on the side. Even because Clinton is like yesterday, so I won't blame the problem Haiti on the Clintons because
I'm just saying he's one of the many NGOs there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Haiti has more NGOs. So you think if these NGOs could solve problems, they wouldn't solve the Haiti problem?
True.
Seriously?
Let me throw in something. Just to make something easy. Obama is black, eh? See there?
What is it?
Obama is black, yeah? And they had Obama is black, President Obama.
Yeah.
And they knew about Haiti black people being oppressed, and they did nothing about it.
But there's a question of Obama being a president, which is an institution.
I don't understand what he's saying exactly. I didn't hear.
Oh, you didn't hear him?
No.
He says Obama is black, but he was president and he didn't do much about it.
Yeah, but Obama's an American. He's not an Haitian president. When you're a president, what does president means? You look the word preside, meaning you on top of something, just like he was saying. You are on top of an institution. Even if I were to become president of the United States, for example, there's not much I can do for Haiti.
For real? I will call you. Like, you didn't even like.
No,
it's like being a very good-natured.
All right. On his personal side, we'll try to do something.
A country's problem has to be resolved by the country's people. What I could do, I could create an environment where there are not barriers against Haiti. In other words, if Haiti is trying to get a loan from the IMF, I'm not going to put terms that are ridiculous. Do you understand?
But now you need some other guys to also agree with you to those new policies.
And
right?
as a president of the United States, there's the Congress, the Senate, and the whole machination of politics that prevents you from doing certain things, even when you want to do them. Because if you go one way too far, then people who are supporting you are going to be against it. For example, Biden now, they were asking about, he was saying, let's have Haiti. I was looking at the comments on YouTube, people saying, what about our problems here in America? We do have homeless people. We have people there. That's the way politics is. It's not like China where the premier could say, okay, therefore I declare this and that. That's the beauty of so-called democracy and also the drawback of democracy, because nothing gets done that radically.
So just to, to fast forward, do you think like now the modern black person, from America, in Africa, in Europe, you think we're still going through some of these challenges which our ancestors were going through, like, although in a lesser way, but some of these institutionalized challenges are still there right now?
I think there's a big difference right now, because there has been, before there were a few people, just a few, who were enlightened enough to be preaching the gospel of the new modern black person. You had James Baldwin. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah. Died recently.
Yeah. You have people like Frantz Fanon.
Yeah.
You have people like W.E.B. Du Bois in the United States. You have, a bunch of Nelson Mandela, of course, and many other African leaders that were. But now you have thousands and thousands and thousands of blacks, including young people, who are writing and doing things to ameliorate our view of ourselves. There is a French philosopher called Descartes who coins this phrase, I think, therefore I am. Je pense, donc je suis. I think, therefore I am. The problem with us black is what we think we are is making us who we are. And we need to change what we think we are. We need to embrace our new self. The fact that this inferiority complex that they have put in our head, we need to chase it like COVID-19. We need to get rid of it. We need to be proud of who we are. We need to be proud of everything that is black. That doesn't mean you don't appreciate other people's stuff. I have been to France. I've been to England. I've been to Germany. I've been to a bunch of European countries. But I chose to come to Kenya. One of my girlfriends is like, what are you doing in Kenya? You don't even like the food from what you said. I said, trust me, there's much more here than food.
Yeah.
I want to know how Kenyans live. I want to know how people from East Africa live. I want to eat the real Kenyan food, because I know the Kenyan food cuisine is very influenced by Indian culture. I can taste that. I'm not too much of a lover of Indian food. So that way, that makes me not like Kenyan food as much, that I should like it. Whereas West African food, I love it because it doesn't have the influence.
Yeah.
It's more, what is it? More
unique.
No, it's more like closer to the people. How do you call that? More indigenous.
All right.
Yeah. It's just, then again, I have other friends who love Indian food. They would have loved food here. So taste don't matter. But the point I'm making is that for myself, I chose to be closer to Africa. And I encourage my friends, travel to Africa. Go, go ever. Because when black people in America are traveling, they go to Europe. But now, with YouTube, with Facebook, with whatever, a lot of young people are going to places like Ghana. They're going to South Africa. They're going to Tanzania. The idea of Africa as one big country doesn't exist anymore to them. They now know that there are 53 countries with different cultures. And within the cultures, you have, Lower tribe. You have different tribes. They're learning those things. So the I think, therefore I am, is becoming a reality to them. Because I see myself as a human being first, as a black person second. And when I say a black person, I'm saying universally as black as you, as everybody else. Okay? What does that mean? That means that if somebody's going to mistreat any human being, I'm going to defend you, whether you're white, Chinese, whatever, Asian, it doesn't matter. Because we're all children of God. I'm going to defend any human being. But in that fight of defending human being, my priority is black people.
Because that's who you are.
Because that's who I am. Because our cousins, they defend themselves. They defend themselves so much that they've become racist and prejudiced. Because I've never heard any black person say, I don't want you to live in my neighborhood. Or I don't want you to date my daughter. Who does that?
Or I don't want you to buy land here.
I don't want you to buy land. They're the only one who does that. They love themselves so much that they become racist, which is a dumb thing, because when you're racist, you don't learn from other people.
Then you're stuck in this.
You're stuck in your little ignorant cocoon. You don't know anything. As I say, I'm a human being first. I will defend any exploitation of any race, including white, Asian, Indian, whomever.
Yeah.
But I'm a black person. And that's who I need to defend, because we need the defense too. We need the defense because of all the races, we are the ones that have been more exploited. Africa has been raped because all the countries they don't have natural resources like we do. But they make us believe with their marketing that we cannot do certain things. We're dumb. When I went to the park yesterday, I was asking the guy, so who built this? He's like, Kenyan built it. I said, oh, that's good. I didn't know that. I thought the colonizers built it when they were here in the 60s. He said, no, we built it in, I think about 21 years ago, something he told me, I think. I'm happy to hear that. Because we need to assert ourselves and do things for ourselves. That doesn't mean that we cannot collaborate with the Chinese to do things, but while the Chinese are building the highway, we should learn their skills and keep them to ourselves so we could build our own damn bridge.
Part of the contract should be you teach our engineers.
And those engineers better learn too.
Yeah. And then you leave.
Like in our country, I had a conversation with him when you come in. Like our country, we have little brilliant engineers. They study, they get A's, but they really 2 metal bars running parallel. You have to bring the Chinese guys to come and build for us. And not make sense.
I get that. Sometimes you need to do, because learning and doing are 2 different things. Like yesterday when we were at the
comedy show.
The girl got on the girl who was advertising her boyfriend's business for the birthday. She grabbed the microphone and she started talking, and she was yelling in the microphone. And then I said, why is she yelling? I said, because she's not used to public speaking. It's practice. I mean, you would think somebody got a microphone, they would know how to speak, but it takes some practice. So that's what happens. So they're learning the practice, and I'm glad that your government wants them to learn while they're on the job, because that's how it should be. You could learn in school, but until you do the thing practically, it's hard to really get the thing.
Another thing which I was thinking about when you're talking, because you notice we are back to unlearning. We need we need black history being taught.
Absolutely.
Like on its own. Like this lesson now, it's black history.
In the United States, what they do, they have 1 month. In the United States, in terms of black history, they have 1 month where they focus on black stuff. But now, thank God again for YouTube and all those things, a lot of things are being put there. You know, that things about Haiti, things about other people. And the marrying of different ethnic groups, Nigerians and Haitians and people from Kenya with people from South Carolina. You know, the world is getting smaller. And anybody who's racist is going to miss the boat. Because we all becoming what we should have been in the first place, human being. Before the 19th century, we didn't have the level of racism. Before the 18th century, I should say. We didn't have the level of racism that we had now. You know? It's... that racism started with Leopold from...
Belgium.
King Leopold is the Hitler of
the ages.
Of the ages.
It's true they talk about the Jews massacre, the Holocaust, but they never talk about what happened.
Yeah, but who's going to talk about it? As I say again, the winners write history. Okay? Yeah. So, if you want to write history, become the winner. That's why I think that black kids, when a black kid says, you know, sometimes I'm invited to speak at schools and stuff like that, and they say, so what do you think I should learn? I said, you know, you should learn something to make as much money as possible. That way, you could end up doing what you want to do. Because money, what is money anyway? Money is just a tool that helps you to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So if you want to help people, don't go into work for some stupid NGO because you're going to get paid peanuts. That's not helping people. Go into the sciences. Go into whatever it is that makes money. Then you make a lot of money, but you don't change. Then you could use that money to make policy and help and fund things that you want to do.
And build schools and universities where you have this course called Black History.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is compulsory. It's a compulsory unit.
Absolutely.
What Legon did, building the school, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
People are doing things.
One of the main reasons I write scripts for movies is that if you look at any Western movies in general, I don't know if you have that saying. In Haiti, they say, you know, if they see a black person, they say, yeah, he's going to die soon in the movie. Do you guys you say the same thing, right?
I've heard that, yeah.
He's supposed to go.
Yeah, of course.
Even in horror movies.
Because
that black guy.
the black guy dies first. Why do you think that is?
Still the same thing, like killing the black man.
No,
even in movies.
That's not what it is.
What is it? What? Tell us.
Because most of the scripts are written by white men. Think about it.
Yeah.
Most of the scripts are written by white men. And what do you think the white man is going to do? Kill his own kind? No. The hero is going to be white because he's a white man.
So why would he die?
Why would he, you know, he sees the white person as negligible. Somebody who's going to help to bring, I mean, this is the way movies are for black people in general. You have a black friend that's just driving the story to its whatever, to its logical whatever. And then the white person is the hero of the movie. When I write my scripts, you better believe the black person is the hero.
He'll overcome all adversities.
Well, whatever it is. So the white friend or whatever it is just part of the movie, but it's not going to be the hero per se. There are plenty of movies about white people being a hero.
Yeah.
Jesus, for crying out loud, is a hero. He's white. So we need more black people presented in a certain way. And also, I want to present black people in many ways in our natural state. Think about it. 4 years ago, they had this movie called Wakanda, whatever, you heard about it.
Black Panther.
Black Panther. About a mythical place that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Uganda, speaking to I'm like, okay.
Okay? And black Americans in particular were so proud to just have this mythical
place
to feel like, wow, we're running something, because we have this
Vibranium.
vibranium that could just kick ass or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, black people are thirsty for us to feel like we could be on top, because our God is white. Don't it's true. I mean, you don't see, it's not a joke, guys. I mean, we're the only race where we close our eyes to pray, we see a white man. Can you imagine? If you're watching a movie and you hear some Lingala in it, let's say a Hollywood movie, how proud do you feel?
Yeah. Sometimes you're watching a movie, then you hear some Swahili.
Some Swahili, and you like, check it out, exactly. Just that little stupid thing. You feel so proud that you hear some Swahili. Or somebody mentioned something about, Westland, or I don't know, maybe Ngong Road.
Yeah, Ngong Road, yeah.
And you feel like, oh yeah, that's in Kenya. White people get that every day, every hour, every second, all the time about themselves. All the time. What do you think they feel? They know they're superior. They don't even think they're superior. They know they are superior to us. That's what we need to change. We do that in our own way. You do it through your comedy. You do it through communication with people when you're driving. I do it through my movie. All of us have a responsibility to do it in our own way, to unlearn and change that thing.
Yeah.
Because
that's why, like Dr. Omar is really trying to change that.
And you see, like black, sometimes we mistake when you say black people, you're thinking of American black people.
No, all
and
black.
Yet
all blacks.
These problems are being faced by all the blacks.
All black. It's because Africa was exploited as well. I mean, when you take a country like Nigeria, one of the richest countries of Africa, right? 210 million people. You have oil. You have all kinds of stuff. But what they did, they took all those tribes, the Hausas, they take the Igbo, they take the Yoruba, they took all of them, put them together and call this thing a new country. And of course that creates tensions. These people didn't say the Yorubas didn't say I want to be with the Igbos.
Yeah, they have their own kingdoms.
They have their own thing. But white people put us together, well, we have to deal with it. But that also creates tensions because they, MI-15 or whatever the Secret Service is dealing there, trying to create divisions amongst different people anyway to form all kinds of nonsense. So Nigeria doesn't become that superpower that it should be. If Japan is a big country with a lot of money, Nigeria should be too.
Yeah, Japan
has no natural resources.
Yeah.
None. Japan doesn't have anything but earthquake. But they have brain power. They have a culture that is unified. If Nigeria is unified and is left alone to take care of its own thing, Nigeria is going to be a powerhouse as well. And Kenya can be. And all those other countries can be.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to be. We need black people who are lovers of black people, who unlearn certain nonsense. The idea that, the president's tribe is not my tribe. Who cares? Okay, let's focus on his politics. Do you agree with his politics or not? If you don't agree, then run for office, do something.
But also, what's wrong with our presidents, man? Like African presidents, they travel, right? Mm-hmm. They travel, go to Dubai, they go to, Europe. They don't feel like their own countries looking like those places where they travel.
Let me tell you something.
So even them, they have to unlearn.
Let me tell you something before you answer. Take one positive black president who's been there before. Like
Thomas
Sankara. Let me give you an example of Thomas Sankara. He made sure he kicked polio in the entire country. He built railways by himself. He cut French imports. He wanted the people to be independent. He cooked their own food. What happened? They killed him. When you stand out as a black president, they come for you.
Well, I think what he was saying, I get that too, but I think what he was saying, if I can interject, is that there is a certain level of pride that you have to have, and I've asked myself that same question too. Like, if you're president and you see how things are done in certain countries, why would you not want the same for your country? But I should submit one thing to you. Kenya is only, you were born in 64.
63.
63, right? So you are about like 61 years old, maybe?
No, 53
No,
thereabouts.
you say 63.
50,
No, it's more than-
58,
59, I think.
59.
We had a jubilee just recently.
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so about 59 years, almost 60 years old. Okay? That's not a long time. That's not a long time. So let's not compare Kenya to Japan that's been there for like...
But how about Singapore? Singapore was on the same level as Kenya in 63.
I know, but what happened is that those countries... how could I put it? Those countries don't have the history that we have. Because you remember I said, I think, therefore I am? They've played with our mind. They haven't played with those... A lot of those places don't have that same...
Mental.
thing. That's a mental thing. China, as recently as the 1940s, was really a backward country. But China is 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I'm not suggesting that it will not happen. Africa will rise. Africa is the future.
Sooner or later.
It will rise because those young people that I see here. I mean, you guys don't see what I see because I'm looking at the fact that everywhere I go I see black people. There's a striving black middle class here.
Yeah.
I've gone to other places where the middle class is mostly light-skinned people. I don't see that here in Kenya. Right? I usually feel like I'm the lightest person in the room. So that's a very positive thing. That means all those people who are educated and you speak to them, they're doing about their business, they're doing things slowly but surely, but eventually, that's what the future of Kenya is. And they've seen things. They've seen things. They're doing things. They will create things. But things take time. A country's road is not as fast as our own lifetime. England has been there for 800 years about.
Fighting, destroying each other.
Do you understand? So it takes time. Kenya's only a teenager of a country.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's hope.
Yeah,
there is hope.
There's definitely hope. I mean, I've taken a bunch of beautiful pictures and I'm going to share them on my social media. This is Kenya. Because people think of Tarzan and all this nonsense. And the government should pay me to be an ambassador for Kenya to show.
Man.
Yeah, and I have a big mouth, so I will be doing that.
Tell us about your movies.
Okay. So I started writing about movies in particular, but a good 12 years ago. But I've always written because I'm a musician as well, as you know.
All right.
The reason why I got into movies is to basically present a picture of ourselves the way that we want to present them. Because when I was in college, undergrad, I studied political science and business. So history, psychology, those things are my domain. And I realized that it's the powerful who always write history. And as black people, we always want people to tell our story for us. Because earlier we were saying, well, they talk about this, but they don't talk about, they talk about the Jews, the Holocaust, but they don't talk about what happened in the Congo. Yeah, but they're the one that are talking.
Yeah.
We need to talk. So I make sure that every black person that I talk to, or every white person, I tell them about the Congo. I talk about Leopold, who's the Hitler of the 18th century or 19th century. Okay? And let people know about him. And talk about the fact that in Switzerland they have no cocoa, and then they're making all that chocolate. So each of us has a responsibility to educate one another. All of us have to do that. So I started writing movies because I know that one of the most powerful tool that one has is cinema. I love radio because I used to do radio. And I do have a radio voice. The girls love them and all that.
Yeah, I noticed. That this guy has the voice.
But I also know that how powerful cinema is. What is seen on TV, even when, I'll tell you something, even when you're watching your friends, Like for example, when I watch a movie that I'm in, I still cannot believe it's me because there's some when it's projected in the
There's
big
an
screen.
aura
There's
around
an
it.
aura of it. Even your friends feel like, oh my god,
Yeah.
where should I take your autograph?
They
Because
can, they're like, this is someone else.
yeah, exactly. So that power, that mystique that movies have, it all starts with the writing. It all starts with the writing. And when you write something and you see it coming from the paper to the realization of what it is, it's just, I cannot even, I don't do drugs. I've never smoked weed in my life because, first of all, that's another thing I believe in. Black people have no business doing drugs because we need our brain, we need our wit, we need to be awakened. We have no business dulling our...
We need to be alert.
Absolutely. We're like in the back of the truck. You could be dropped dead anytime. No, we need to be alert all the time. Let white people do the weed if they want to do it. They want to legalize marijuana and do it. Knock yourselves out. But us, it's a moral imperative that we don't. Because we cannot afford it. We can afford it.
The way it comes from, that is considered as
What? What is it?
weed. Smoking marijuana is food for this.
No, I'm not suggesting that whether it's marijuana, whether it's cocaine, whether it's whatever it is, anything that's going to dull our senses so much, we don't need it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because we need to be alert.
The boy shall bow to you, don't need
It's not the morality of it. We just need to be alert. Whether it be alcohol, you consume alcohol, whatever it is. We just need to be alert. Because otherwise we have no future.
Yeah.
We need all our young people to be alert. Instead of teaching them, don't do drugs because it's immoral. No. Show them who they are, tell them where they come from, and they'll see that weed is not important.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, movies are very powerful. So I write to present an image of black people that is positive. And I'm just doing my part.
Good stuff.
And other people will do their part. You know.
How do you distribute, like, if we want to watch them? How do you, even generally, how do you distribute them?
I believe in thinking globally and acting locally. I truly believe that. Everybody think that to be a star, you're just going to be one day waking up one day and then you're going to be big stars. Very rarely does that happen. You have people who are stars who were doing things for years and then bim, one day they got discovered and something like that happened. Or they're doing things locally and now with social media, then they just get big. Now it's very easy to do it because you have Netflix, you have Amazon. We already have everything's all set for Amazon for us to be on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, we're working with Netflix so that we could have my movie on Netflix. So that's basically what it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're Netflix, you're global, man.
Yeah, exactly. So you will see my movie on Netflix.
Or if you're just on the internet. No?
No, we're not just going to put it on the internet. It's too much money spent. It's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be...
Yeah,
it will be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because what we've done everything that Netflix... Because what we've talked to Netflix to try to get the requirements. For example, with Netflix, you have to have original music. I cannot just put somebody else's music on there. Netflix is not going to be sued because you were negligent at putting somebody's music that you don't have any authorization to put. Okay, so I write my original scores. My brother, who's a producer, is doing some music for me. I have two friends of mine who are, by the way, white. For you listening, thinking I hate white people, I do have white friends too. And my white friends agree with me with my assessment because they are educated in the way that we tell them to be educated. They play for the Boston Symphony Orchestra. They've written scores of music for the movie as well. So
how did you fund it? Was funding it a problem?
The funding is I found a very creative way to fund my movie, that latest movie that I've done. I have a very good friend of mine. She was doing her master's at Harvard University. Very smart girl, very good friend of mine. And her major is film. To shoot a movie in 4K, I don't know if you know what 4K is. Okay, 4K is a certain level of fidelity that the camera should have, and which is like, the next thing. Now they do have 5K and 6K that's coming up, but 4K is actually very high. Or certain kind of equipment that you need to use is a lot of a lot of money to rent. You could talk about renting the camera for one day. It could be a good $1,500 for that one day. And when you're shooting one scene, we were talking about it earlier, it could take you, that one scene, 3 days to shoot it, and you don't know when you're going to start. That's why people who are jealous, don't let your girl, don't go out with actresses or actors, because you could be shooting at 7 p.m. and it could be like 3 o'clock in the morning, you're still shooting, and you come back the next day or whatever, and that's for one scene. So my friend, basically, I proposed to her that why doesn't she could use my movie as her thesis, and then she would be using Harvard equipment to film the movie.
Brilliant.
Of course. So we did spend money because I had to feed all the actors. I strongly believe in that. I believe that, the actors are not paid. Actually, one of them is paid because I had to send for somebody from Haiti to bring her here. I say here in Boston to shoot. So we had to pay for a ticket, pay for where she was going to stay, her wardrobe, and everything else. So we wrote to a lot of companies and to get donations to things. Like I had a whole roster of friends. What really we did a lot of administration. If you have a good, what we call a production manager, you can do things. So what we did, our production manager, by the way, is African. She's Nigerian. And our DP, our director of photography, is also African. He's from Togo. And the girl is the director, and I'm the executive producer and writer. So that's like the leadership of the group. So we met with all these people. So we created a schedule for when we're going to be shooting. First of all, before we did that, the first thing that we did, we look at the whole scripts and we cut it down to where we're going to be shooting those scripts. And now we seek out to do location scouting. For example, let's say you have a shoot a scene where somebody's talking inside a living room somewhere. Let's say you are actor A in the movie, but you have your own place. So the place has to be consistent. So I would call Emmanuel. I said, can we shoot that scene at your house? You said yes. So we look at it. Yeah, that's appropriate for the character. Because not every character has to have a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It depends on what the character is about. I've seen some movies where everybody's rich in the movie. Like, why?
It's not realistic.
It does make no sense. I mean, especially, forgive me to say that, but I've seen a lot of African movies that do that, where the place where the person lives doesn't go with the character of the person. Yeah. If you have someone who, let's say, is a modest person in the movie, their wardrobe should be modest. Where they live should be modest.
Also, just to throw this in, even in like a series like 24, remember 24?
Of course.
Jack Bauer never ever went to the loo. For the whole series, all seven whatevers. But anyway, that was a by the way.
That's a very...
I think shooting, going to the loo scene takes too much money. Let's just ignore that part.
Yeah,
but I hear you.
Yeah, so we do the location scouting, and after that, after we do the casting again, one thing, I don't do friendship in my movie. I choose people who are best. I invite everybody to come and apply, and we choose you based on your abilities. Everybody has some kind of ability for a movie, and we choose you. Once we choose you, then we do that. After the casting, we do a casting orientation. After that, we do a schedule of when we're going to be shooting. But every day that we're going to shoot, we make sure that we have someone that's going to provide food for that day for how many actors that will be there. So from my mother to my cousins to my whatever, my friends, my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, my future girlfriend, whoever are donating food for us. In the United States, it's no big deal. People just say, okay, I'll cook for you, and then they just provide the food and bring them.
So talking about your...
wardrobe, same thing too for wardrobe. People have a lot of clothes back home, so sometimes you want the actor to look a certain way, and you tell a friend, okay, can you dress up that person? And I have friends who are fashion designers. My aunt is one, by the way. So sometimes they make the clothes for the people, or somebody use their clothes.
Getting about your production team, I've heard you said Togo. You have
No, I have somebody who's a Togolese from Togo, Nigerian, and the Haitian girl is Haitian. The director, and me. We are like the leadership level.
You're missing one from one country.
Nigeria and Togo, Haiti and me.
You're missing a Kenyan.
He's rude.
No, well, we don't have many Kenyans in Boston. I haven't seen many Kenyans in Boston.
They don't land. You should send the ticket to Atlanta. They're there. But anyway, that's cool. You've just used your creativity to get things done.
Yeah, and I think that's what we should do as black people. Whatever you're doing, whether it's something that you do for fun, something you do seriously, always remember we always have a purpose, because our cousins, and I'm calling them cousins, we are the brothers. The white people are cousins.
Yeah.
They love themselves. We need to love ourselves too.
Yeah.
And not because we hate them, because we want to be as loved as a human being as they are.
Yeah.
If I see anybody mistreating a white person, I will defend the white person, because we're all children of God. But they don't see it as such. It's up to us to elevate ourselves, not in a way to put anybody down, but to assert ourselves as people who belong on this earth. You cannot have an earth where a group of people decide that they're masters of the universe and everybody else is subservient. No. You cannot have a people who make you feel like you are inferior. We're not inferior. The opportunities are just taken away from us. And now suddenly, because we have basic biological and certain needs, we start acting like animals. That's what they would do if we put them in the same situation.
Yeah.
Haitians don't have the opportunity to feed themselves well and all that. They cutting the trees, and that's why.
Yeah.
But if you give them one of those things, you think they're not gonna do that.
An example, Wycliffe. You see, he was a top musician from Haitian.
Yeah.
You see, so
Yeah.
opportunities are there.
Yeah.
You get these people.
Yeah. And then when we find ourselves in certain environments, you thrive thoroughly.
Absolutely, because we're thirsty. You give any black person I have no doubt about it. You pluck any Kenyan here, you bring him to America, you give him the opportunity, they thrive.
Olivier is a film producer. He writes his own music. He plays piano.
Yeah.
Plays guitar. I was like, what?
Sometimes it's embarrassing to say so many things that I do, because it's just like, okay, after a while you sound like a brag.
Maybe the best question is, what don't you do?
I don't do kids. I am not married, nor do I have any kids. So in that sense, I'm a failure. As a Kenyan, I'm a total failure here.
In the kids department.
In the kids department, yeah. And you know what's funny is, like, all my brothers and sisters, they have kids. I'm the only one who don't have any children.
I don't have kids too, man.
Well, at least you're married.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna get kids.
You don't think, man?
I'll dedicate my life to purpose. And
I think when people say, will you have kids? I said, it depends on my wife. My future wife. I don't know. Because if I say no, then I'm not ready to get married, and I will never get married.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you sampled any Kenyan?
No, I haven't sampled any Kenyans at all. When I'm on vacation, I just shut down the store. I'm on a mission.
No, but they had opportunity. You went for that salsa thing. I'm just saying, you went for that salsa thing. Hey, there's two chiles, man. They're on his case.
So he's just gonna leave like that?
I asked him, dude.
No, I am. I know for a fact how, and I've read it a lot, that a lot of people come from America or from other Western countries with the almighty dollars, and they come here and then just try to
smash and dash.
Yeah, to me that's wrong. I'm not saying that I could not fall in love with a girl, but the idea that I'm just going to flash my American card and then want to just talk to a girl that way, no. I mean, I took the girl's number. I sent her the symbol of things. I said, hopefully if you come to America, we'll talk. That's it.
But for you, at least when you speak is when they know you're not Kenyan.
Yes.
So you can blend into the crowd.
I can blend anywhere. I am someone I would feel very comfortable at Buckingham Palace, having tea with the Queen, but I would be somewhere in wherever and feel comfortable as well.
Are you gonna be back to Kenya anytime soon, or you don't know?
No, not anytime soon. I might come back, but I know I want to go to South Africa. And after South Africa, I probably will do one of those fun, what I call fun
Trips.
Fun trips are the Caribbean. There's nothing like it. Fun trips is you just go to the beach.
I wish you went to Mombasa though.
Yeah, I know. Mombasa wouldn't be just fun.
Mombasa
Mombasa
would
would be fun, but I wanted to come to Nairobi more because of it's more educational for me. This was an educational trip. Yeah.
Have you gone like into the outskirts of Nairobi?
No, I have not been to the outskirts. I haven't had time.
Even just driving random to the outskirts. You know, Nairobi is a very interesting city. Like you just drive 5 kilometers outside the city limits and you're in a village.
I would love to go, but I don't think I have the time. I would have loved to go. Yeah, because I'm living.
No, I'm from an urban area. No, but it's
Bruno,
actually outside.
But I would have loved. Trust me, I would have loved to go, and I'd love to taste their food too, to see if the Indian influence was that much.
Like
Yes, where the
in the middle of Naivasha and Nairobi, like such places. I think many people who travel to Nairobi don't experience. Like no one ever takes them.
But I don't think you get experience when you go to Naivasha. You know that Tumbukeza food there.
Yeah, no, Naivasha is more or less urban.
You should go
In the middle, Lyoko, Kanyariri, such areas. Such areas. But cool.
The thing,
I wonder why he does that when he's speaking.
The headphone.
No, when you speak is when this thing starts. I think he didn't like you. We need to. All right, I think. I think we're done for this episode.
I asked him what he does, the things that he does in totality.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing apart from the movies?
Okay, what do I do? I'm a pianist. I play the piano. I play the guitar and I play the drums. These are the musical stuff I do, and I also write music. I'm also a business person. I have a building that I run. Basically, that's what gives me income to do what I want to do. That's what I had to do to do what I wanted.
Foundation.
I worked for the mayor's office for many years. I was a workforce development coordinator, basically engaging in policy work that helps people get into the workforce. So that was the thing that I needed to do.
To get the other thing.
To get money to buy my place that now giving me income so that I could do what I want to do. Like movie stuff, because the movie stuff is not giving any money yet, it's taking money away. I do some consultants. Like if people want to organize something and you want me to do it for you, I'm a very great organizer. I could just put things logically, make it make sense. If you're doing an event, I can help you do that.
Where were you yesterday? I was suffering. I was drowning in carnival.
I literally could have helped you.
I was doing everything, man. I was doing tickets, arranging the seats, confirming.
Yeah, but this should have been done prior to the event. And then you just have one person and you have another person, like two people doing everything, not one person only.
In case one fails.
And then and because it's very hard doing. People say they're gonna do things, but when it comes to reality, they don't want to do them. What else? The movie, I write scripts, I write music, and I teach dance too. I forgot to say that. I have a dance studio. That's also another income thing. I have at my house where I live, not the other place, but where I live. There's something called the basement in Boston. I don't know you know what it is. A basement.
Yeah.
It's like the bottom floor. So I have a dance studio there where I teach kizomba and salsa and rumba, and I have parties there too sometimes. So I do that. I think that's it.
Also podcast.
Well, I do radio, but I don't do radio anymore. I was doing radio until COVID. I stopped.
All right, you're in radio just recently. That's like
absolutely,
a couple of years.
I had actually some of my shows are on is it on YouTube or on Facebook? One of them. I've done radio.
You're doing was it a daily show?
No, not daily. It was weekly. I couldn't do daily. It was a 2-hour show, and the name of the show was Kalalu.
All right.
Yeah, and one segment of it, I had several segments. I had one segment called Hello to Francophonie. Francophonie is all the French-speaking countries.
Yeah.
And, you have many of them from Gabon, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, whatever. And then we had...
But they pronounce it Gabon.
Yeah.
Well, that's the name of it in French.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had that. We had... basically, it was different segment of it. I can't focus on it right now, but yeah, I did radio.
Dope stuff. No wonder he's just unnatural on this thing, man.
There's something very powerful before we finish.
Yeah.
Something very powerful to say. You said you needed to do what you need to do to get you somewhere where you need to be.
No, you have to do what you need to do what you need to do so you could do what you want to do. In other words, if you have to drive a taxi so that you could buy your house, that's what you have to do. There's no embarrassment or anything like that. That's why I respect everybody. It doesn't matter. That's important, because when a girl sees a man, all he sees is, okay, what do you have now? But they don't see your potential, or what is it that you're doing to get to that destination.
I think a relationship would have wasted a lot of time so that you don't quickly achieve some of these things.
Yeah, but people, when you see someone who quickly achieves something, or achieves something, who's already, it's like a food that's already cooked. But you don't know who cooked it. You don't know how it was cooked. You get in that kitchen and you want to taste that food, somebody might kick you out of the kitchen. But if you have someone, you were there, you were patient with them, that relationship is strengthened even better, I think. True. So I think it's important it's always good to find something that's really cooked, no doubt, and that's why we go to Galitos or something.
Yeah.
But it tastes better when we cook our own food. So I think people should just look at someone comprehensively, not just by the ephemeral view that everybody has of someone. Yeah.
Is it also harder to bring someone in after all those achievements? Like, would you now start looking for someone at your level?
Well, it's hard. Believe it or not, I don't have a girlfriend at the moment.
So you're free. You're telling us you're free.
No, but it isn't because I don't want to have a girlfriend. I want to have a girlfriend. I am talking to this girl who I love very much, but she it's very complicated with her because she's going through some medical issues that she feels that she needs to deal with that first before she has anybody in her life. She has chronic pains. Chronic pain. She's always in pain, unfortunately. And I tell her, it doesn't matter. I'll be there with you. She said, no, I don't want you to have to pity me. I don't, Okay, so that's that. Yeah. So there's nothing I can do. We're talking. I love her. She told me she loves me too, but she doesn't want to be in a relationship. So that's a problem. And then again, you have other girls who just see me and they see me as a bank account. Okay, they see my house, they see my car, they see things like that, and they just see me as a passport to go to a destination, an opportunity. But that's not what.
That's the way you pronounce it in South Africa. An opportunity.
And there are other people who want me, and I'm not interested.
Yeah.
The relationship is a problem because you have chemistry, you have you feeling, and then you have your raw, basic attraction.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't like the fact that her legs don't look like the legs of the girls that I want. Like, for example, we were at that thing and he saw this girl with gluteus maximus.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he was ogling all day, all night long.
Just like aware of your
Even downstairs at the gate, he was really in a good mood.
Huh?
Just down here at the gate.
What gate?
The lady who opens the gate.
That's his future ex-girlfriend. The lady that
No,
He seems to. No, him. He's waiting for you to leave. He'll be here next week at his apartment.
Go ahead, come and check it out.
But anyway, it was cool. It was cool having you, brother.
Well, it's very cool. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. I think you've made my journey here quite welcoming, and To all my future Kenyan friends who are listening to this,
Yeah.
be sure you support this podcast. It's good sharing.
Yes.
And we'll be hearing from you soon again.
Also for the team in Boston, man, shout out to them.
Sure.
I'm sure they're going to listen.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah. So until the next one.